It's late on a Friday afternoon and you need to send a project status update. Now, you've been given Microsoft Copilot to use, but no one's actually shown you how to use it for the work that actually lands on your desk. Your update source materials are scattered across meeting notes, emails, Teams messages, actions, and that spreadsheet that you've not opened since last Tuesday. I've worked in IT for nearly 20 years, and this part of project work never gets easier or more fun. So I'll show you how I use Copilot to turn that mess into a clear status report in minutes, and the 4 checks I make before I send it to save you time and your sanity. Let's go. So to show you this all properly without using anyone's real work data, I've created a fictional project here called Project Lantern. Now, it's essentially a customer self-service portal rollout for a medium-sized company. Like most real projects in the real world, it's got a deadline, many people involved, dependency that's starting to slip, I'll put in there as well, a requirement that has changed, and a few other actions and the normal kind of fun hidden stuff that lives in real-world projects. Now, I've set it up with the sort of information you'd normally have at weekend. So we've got meeting notes here, an email chain, we've got the action log, risk log, a plan, and last week's update as well. Now, whilst none of this is real company data from anywhere, it's been deliberately and carefully set up to be real world messy, because that's where we can see some of the value of Copilot. So let's start looking at the source material, and then I'll show you how I turned it into the first draft of that report. So here we have 10 project artifacts from the week. We have a project brief, we have some meeting transcripts, some rough notes, email chain dependencies, and a project tracker in an Excel spreadsheet as well. So we've got a bit of a mix of a bunch of different things here. So we've got structured meeting notes, we've got messy notes, we've got an Excel file for Copilot to deal with, as well as historical data, conflicting information in there as well, just to keep things a little bit more interesting. Now, just a point to note, as I always make on these videos about AI and using things like Copilot, whilst they are super helpful at drafting and creating artifacts and output for you, they are not accountable for anything they produce. You'll see the disclaimer down the bottom of them all the time about them potentially not being accurate. You need to check it. At the end of the day, the work that you put out sits with you. The AI is there to help you as a tool, but you are still accountable. Right. Let's get into this now then. So here we are in beautiful Copilot that I'm sure you're all very familiar with if you are stuck with this at work as well. I've got it in dark mode just because I don't like to burn my eyes off. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go here and we're going to add all of the content that we are going to use, upload all of those wonderful files. Now, the difference here that you'll probably do is instead of uploading individual files, you'll just attach the whole SharePoint folder. Now, you can do that in Copilot by just hitting /, and then you'll see the sources box pop up all the way down here. There'll be an option on your work account for SharePoint, and you can go in there and you can click and you can search. You can just find the whole SharePoint folder. That's probably the better way to do it. That way you can set this up as a repeatable task if you want to as well. And any additional information that gets added to that folder will be automatically then referenced to that chat. So I have all my source material loaded. I now have my prompts that I'm going to paste in. Here's one I prepared earlier. So the highlights here. So I'm being quite specific in what I want, because the more specific you are, the better output you're going to get. So using the attached Lantern sources, I'm telling the Copilot what I want here. I want a weekly project status for last week. It's got last week's report as well. So I want it to exactly use that because that is the template. So use the exact format, headings and details that's in the previous report, keep the statuses, the summary, progress, all of that good stuff. Then I've asked it to reconcile differences between the sources, and basically what that will force it to do is just make sure that any inconsistencies or any conflicting information are surfaced to us, and it doesn't just look at it and pick one and go with that instead. When you're doing that as well, you can tell it which source has authority over another. So for example, if you've had a meeting with your C-level, your senior stakeholders, and your decisions have been made up here, then you can say that this document is the authority in terms of decisions, dates, all that good stuff as well. And then I've just ended off with just how I want it. So keep the update concise, specific, and suitable for the project sponsor. Always specify who the output is going to be for, because your output for a senior level project sponsor or a C-level stakeholder is going to be very different from one of your technical leads or engineers, for example, as well. So always tell Copilot who this is for. Let's kick this off then, and we'll see what the first draft gives us. Now, I've not run this beforehand, so I'm seeing it work with this material at the same time that you guys are. Okay, here we go. That was super quick. So below is your concise, sponsor-ready weekly update. Treated the data email chain as your authoritative source for the certificate commitment. Great. So let's have a look. So what we got? So we've got a nice little heading. Got the baseline go live, Amber. Got the overall status in there. Got some good comments on progress that's happened. It's talked about the change request we've got there, which is good. So it's picked that up as well. And you'll notice as well, it gives you these little icons here. So this is the source material that it's pulled the updates from, and it will show you basically the icon of whatever it is. So this is all Word docs because that's what I've uploaded. But if it's pulled the information, for example, from Outlook or Teams, you'll see a little Outlook or Teams logo here as well. And you can click on it and it will take you straight to that source material so you can cross-reference it and just double check. Lovely. Yep. So it's built out all our milestones as well. Fantastic. Risk issues, dependencies, decision changes, and then our actions with owners with the due date there as well. So this is an absolutely passable first draft. It's done everything that I've asked it to do. It's produced it all. It's absolutely fine. It's also relatively useless to me at this point because it's still in Copilot. So it's given me some additional options down here. What I want to do to start off with is make this actually something that's usable. So create it in a Word doc that I can download, remove those inline sources. Whilst it's great here in the chat so you can verify it, it gets annoying and went in the way in the actual Word document itself. The other thing that's quite useful here is if you have a corporate template, so a branded or whatever templated Word document or PowerPoint presentation that you use to present, you can upload that template and you can tell Copilot to fill that out and it will fill it out. I've done a video before with showing presentations and it using PowerPoint. I'll stick a link up there somewhere or down in the description so you can go and check that one out as well. Don't be put off if you ask it to do something and you start to see code put up on the screen like this. It's just how on the back end the AI crafts the document for you. So great, excellent. Let's download the Word doc. Let's see what it's done for us. Okay, here we go. So now this is looking much more like your traditional project status update. I've not given it any direction in terms of how it should format or structure this. I've not given it color palettes, fonts to use or anything like that. So it's used the information it's had available. It's probably pulled some formatting from the actual source documents themselves. And we can see here, it's highlighted the project status here nicely at the top in the appropriate color. We've now got a good executive summary and it's just far more actually digestible. And then once you've gone through it, much easier then to share. This is a solid first draft. There's definitely some bits I'd like to tweak and change. So let's pop back over into the chat. And here's some bits that I would like to just tweak and change just to refine it a bit more. So I want it a little bit more concise to a sponsor ready. I want all the important information on that first page and as much of the important information that the senior sponsors need in the top half of that first page. Chances are most people at that senior level aren't going to get past the first half of the page of the report anyway. So let's get as much in there as we can. Keep all the facts unchanged. So give it a baseline. So tell it what you do want to keep. And obviously I want to keep all the facts, the dates and the owners there. I don't want it going off and making decisions and hallucinating and making up things there. A sharper executive summary. So we've seen the portal's complete, but the late certificate has compressed the test window. These are the two key things here and the key thing we need the sponsor to know. Yep, keep the status amber, make it more concise, get it tighter into one sentence. Again, really super quick for the senior sponsor to understand exactly why we are where we are. Make key dates more visible, confirm facts from conditional forecast. So make sure we get a bit of repeated wording. Make sure we're using plain sponsor-friendly language to be like tailor this to your stakeholders in your project. You might have a senior stakeholder who's super technical and likes to know some of the nitty-gritty detail. You might have one who's not very technical and just wants to know if he's going to get shouted at by his boss tomorrow. So tailor the message and tailor the requests to the people in your project. And here we go. And just finish off with a short sponsor attention, whether decisions are required, what the key things are, just something in a box at the bottom the sponsor can have a look at and know exactly what's needed from them. All right. Let's make those changes and see what we end up with. Okay, good stuff. So here we have both of the report outputs. On the right, we have draft 1, which was the original document that Copilot put out for us. And on the left, we have the revised copy after the changes I've asked, and you can see just from the off, it's slightly more visually I'd say visually pleasing, but it's definitely easier on the eye. It's easier to see at a glance exactly where we are. We've got nice highlighted amber status here with a single sentence explaining exactly why we are where we are. If we just have a look in terms of what you can actually just see from the off, so with the revised one, I've got the status, I've got the summary, I've got confirmed facts and predictions, I've got a highlighted key checkpoint, and I'm into the first couple of milestones before I've even started to scroll down past the fold, compared to the first draft where I've essentially got just the exec summary and a paragraph on why we're amber. So a lot more information packed into smaller space, which is what we want. Let's kind of scroll down to where we are. So it's taken the progress this week and it's split it into confirmed facts and forecasts, a little bit more detail around the outlooks, and again that's just all condensed all into one nice place. It's just a lot more, it's more concise. This goes on to 3 pages. This one is just over 1.25, so it's much more in line with what I would want as a sponsor update. And that final section at the bottom around the sponsor's attention needed bit as well is just a nice little touch as well. Nice quick reference point for them to come in. So with the point being, never take the first draft as gospel and never take the first draft as the finished article. So there we go. We've seen Copilot take a messy SharePoint folder or folder of documents and turn it into something useful for us without us having to go digging through every single one, compare documents to documents, and spend half of our Friday pulling this all together. Now, as we've seen, it's been incredibly useful. It saved us a bunch of time, but do not take the first draft that AI gives you as the final version that you'll use. Remember what I said at the start. AI is a tool to help you do your job. You are still accountable for that job. Make sure you're making your tweaks and changes. Use your templates if you need to as well, and tailor the work to how you need it for the audience you're providing it to. So 4 pre-send checks before I would send this out. The actions with the owners, double check that it has actually pulled the right owners out. There is nothing more embarrassing as a PM or delivery manager than sending out an action list and getting a confused Teams message back a few minutes later asking why Dave's been assigned to a task that he has nothing to do with. Number 2, double check the dates. Make sure it's pulled completion dates or due dates as opposed to start dates. It's got them the right way around. Number 3, that it's got all the correct dependencies. It's not confused them. It's not got them in the wrong order. It's not got them anything muddled up with them. And number 4, probably one of the most important bits, is make sure it's understood and it's got the right context around the risks. Again, nothing is worse than thinking you've got all this nicely boxed off on a Friday afternoon and sending it off, imagining the weekend and sitting down when you get home and forgetting about work, than an angry and confused phone call from a sponsor because you've somehow managed to completely flag a false risk, overbake it, or overstate something. So always check those 4 things as a bare minimum before you send any of this out. Now, I hope this has been super useful for you. Copilot sucks. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't, but most of us are stuck with it at work, and my mission is to try and make it as easy and as useful for everyone as it possibly can be. If this has been useful, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of these, and coming up on screen will be a link to my playlist of all my Copilot help videos. Go and check them out, and I will see you next time. Stay peachy.